Thanks for the support as a channel member, Harold Rotmo. Well, this is going to be the strangest summer I've ever done on YouTube, I think, because I promised a transfer special, not realising we had the FIFA World Club Cup to play in. Hello and welcome to Club 6, Part 11 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, the Club World Cup, some of it, some transfers, some season review stuff. I imagine if we run deep in the Club World Cup, we're going to have to do this over a few episodes. I'm not going to show you the group games against Auckland City and Monterrey because I'm going to assume they're big wins for us. But this thing goes into a quarterfinal, semi-final and final. And looking at some of the other teams that are in it, Chelsea, River, Real Madrid, Man United, Atletico, Tottenham, Bayern, Inter, they're all in it. This could be like a tour back through the rest of my career. Imagine a run that involves Tottenham and Bayern on the way to a final. That would be stunning. Talking of Bayern, by the way, they've won the Champions League again for the second year in a row. So despite selling a whole load of players, the three that I signed plus Thorgerson who went to Juventus, they're still the best team in Europe. I think that £1 billion is looking more and more like money well spent over there, and they're doing really rather well. But this is a tournament. I've not played in this version of the Club World Cup before, and I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I want to see how this pans out. So that's definitely going to be a feature of this episode. We also have the rest of the rebuild to do. We have a bunch of old men either retiring or need replacing. De Jong is retiring. Hudson-Odoi has come to me and said he's getting homesick after 6 years at Barcelona. He's ready to go back to England. We were probably moving him on anyway. Barrow's a year older than that at 33, so another central midfielder who probably needs replacing. And Mbappe's 34. But even the likes of Bajic in goal, I know he's a goalkeeper, but he's 31 and he's now got a broken ankle, so he's going to be out for the first 3 or 4 months of the season. And then looking through the rest of the squad, there's ageing players. Lots of 29-year-olds knocking around in this squad that's full of... the likes of Vermonti and Messias, who are 29, they're probably going to get another year to be around the squad because we've got to replace the even older ones first. But there's going to be busy transfer business this summer as we look to build a bigger squad that can not fall apart in the Champions League the way ours did this year, because I think that was what cost us. We were a very good side in the league. We dominated La Liga. We are the best team in Spain by miles, but Atletico knocked us out of the Champions League because they're monsters. It was Inter versus Bayern in the Champions League final again, by the way, and Bayern winning again for the second year in a row. So that's 3 Champions League finals in a row for Bayern Munich, 2 in a row for Inter. The only other team who's been in that run was us when I was on the other side of it. They're the 3 big teams in Europe, I think. So maybe Inter has to be next. We need Alex Catamol to go there. But before any of that, let's do our season review stuff. So firstly, we have the Barcelona all-time best 11, which is probably not going to have too many of our players in. It's not that important because we've only been here for a year. But it does show the significance of the likes of De Jong, Barrow, Hudson-Odoi moving on. These are players who've been legendary players for Barcelona, who've been a huge part of the last 10, 15 years. Even someone like Messias, he's 29. He's going to be moving on soon. Neves, we got rid of last summer. De Jong goes this summer. Barrow goes this summer. Hudson-Odoi goes this summer. Sterling left, I think, 2 years ago, just before I arrived. There's a very much changing of the guard feel, and most of this team, in fact, all but one of this team, are going to be gone within 12 months, which is a big deal. We've got to build a new all-time best 11 at Barcelona. End of season awards, Vermonti, of course, winning player of the year, because that is what Vermonti does. He goes places and he wins player of the year. He's just awesome. Leonard, runner-up, 28% of the vote, and Banfalvi, third with 22%. I'm going to call that successful transfers. My boys being 1 and 3, I like that. Mbappe gets goal of the season for this goal, which we will have a little look at. Now, look, this was back when we were playing him on the right wing before Hudson-Odoi fell off a cliff. Not that he really did. He had a not terrible season in the end, but this is the Mbappe goal that won goal of the season. Kryju dancing around on the right-hand side. How many times did we see him do that? And Mbappe picks it up. And it's a good finish, but I think we scored better goals over the course of the season. Vermonti getting signing of the season at 80 million. He's a steal at 80 million. And Gila at 24, young player of the year. Our team of the season, Bajic in goal. A back four of Messias, Paredes, Banfalvi and Kryju. Vermonti, Barrow and Hendricks in midfield. And Mbappe, Posibon and Leonard as our front three. And looking at that team of the year, there's at least two of those who need replacing this summer in the shape of Barrow and Mbappe, and strength in depth needed in lots of other areas. We only have one other fullback at the club. So Kryju is basically our backup left back, and then we have a 31-year-old right back. So we probably need at least one new fullback. Paredes and Banfalvi, we've got a couple of decent backups for them, and we've obviously got the young wonder kid to back up Vermonti. We have nothing beyond these two in central midfield, though, so at least two central midfielders need to come in, and Hudson-Odoi is the only backup to these two, so we probably need a couple of wingers as well, and we've got Correa as a good backup to Leonard up front, so as long as we can keep Leonard, then we don't necessarily need to sign a striker this summer. Top scorer was Leonard with 41 goals, which is a ridiculous number of goals. Vermonti gets top best average rating, and Mbappe most assists, Bajic best pass completion, and Leonard picking up most man of the matches. And there's your naughty boys club at the bottom there. Season review wise, I mean, we won the league, which it's not to be sniffed at, because if we look at the past winners, although you think that's Barcelona, of course you won the league. If you look back at the last 10 years, okay, maybe the last 8 years, it's only the second time in 8 years that Barcelona have won La Liga. So that is actually quite a big deal. To win the league so dominantly for a team that struggled to do so for quite a long time shows that the project is heading in the right direction. We are starting to build a Barcelona team that can dominate the way we've seen Bayern go on and dominate Germany even after we've left. That's the kind of team we're looking to build here. Club expectation-wise, they're looking for me to win La Liga and reach a Champions League final. No mention at all of the Club World Cup, which is interesting, because I'm pretty sure it was on this screen when I looked at it. It's now gone again. I don't think the game knows where to put it, because it kind of happens between seasons. I think it actually officially starts this season, but probably ends next season, and it's a complicated thing. There are team leaders, Barrow, Leonard and Hudson-Odoi. Two of those probably leaving this summer means we're going to need some more of these guys to step up. De Jong's likely to be leaving. We're looking at the likes of Messias, Vermonti, Banfalvi, Kryju. These are Hendricks. These are the kind of players we're looking at to step up and become our new team leaders. End of season team meeting, we're going to passionately say we're going to win the league again next year, which has pleased everybody. End of season team break, that's probably a bad idea. Lads, we've got this. Where are you going? How do we? I don't remember having any control over that. I hope we're going to have some players for this. Well, this could be really interesting. Right. Let's see how things develop. We have a couple of problems emerging in the shape of Leonard and Posibon. Premier League clubs, Premier League clubs are unsettling my players. I'm Barcelona. How are they unsettling my players? But Posibon wants to go to Liverpool. Leonard wants to go to Chelsea. I've turned down the offers initially. They've now both got a grumpy on. So we might be losing both of those, which means an entirely new front line emerging for next season. It does mean as well we need to go straight back in for this guy, who's going to cost almost our entire transfer budget. But if we're going to lose Leonard, he's the man to replace him. 4 years in a row he's won Ballon d'Or. He scores goals for fun, has a fantastic average rating, 2 Champions League finals in a row. He's only 25. Problem is, he's going to cost far more than we're likely to get for Leonard. We've just had to agree with Leonard that we'll sell him to Chelsea for 98 million if they bring in an offer for him. We're bringing in some wonder kids. I'll show you the wonder kids when they all arrive on the 1st of July. But there's a few in a variety of positions that we're trying to bring in just to add some youth and excitement to our squad. Worryingly as well, it looks like we're not going to be back in training before this. I genuinely don't think we're going to be able to play any players in this game against Monterrey, which is going to be interesting. There's no way to call them back to training early. What happens here, folks? What happens here? Right, this Premier League thing's getting ridiculous now. Talking of young players we were trying to sign, we tried to sign this guy who was at West Brom. He's a championship player at West Brom. He had the choice between going to Watford or Barcelona. We offered him as much money as they've offered him, and he's chose to go to Watford, who narrowly avoided relegation from the Premier League, rather than Barcelona, who've just won La Liga. Premier League bias, anybody? Well, somehow, as if by magic, my players are back off of holiday. They're not fit. They've had no training. There was no announcement that they were back, but here they are. So I'll go and play these couple of games, I guess. I think our trick for next season is going to be don't train, because they've just turned up from no training and won 12-0. 37 shots to their 0. I know we've played against a team that aren't as good as us, but 12-0 might be my record for a competitive game. Well done, lads. I'm so glad I didn't include that in the video. That was a long match, and now we have to do it again. Ryzen got injured during it as well. So far in this tournament, we've scored 21 goals and not had a shot against us. 51 shots in that game. I guess it gets harder from here. I'm not going to show you an actual match until we play against an actual team that might give us a proper game. We've qualified for the quarterfinals. Do we know who we're going to be playing yet? I don't think we do. But I don't want to show you a 9-0 or a 12-0. They're not very fun to watch. It's a bit of a grind sitting there watching them for myself. Never mind trying to commentate on them. But I don't know what happens with this competition now. Presumably, it moves on to the quarterfinal, which I guess I'm assuming it all takes place this summer. Maybe. Right, here we go then. We have a game. If Tottenham had done anything other than Tottenham things, this would be against Tottenham. I'm trying to get back to the groups because it was basically Gremio are the winners, or Gremio. How do you say it? Gremio? I've never actually said it out loud before. They won Tottenham's group, basically. They were quite good. They drew with Tottenham and thumped FC Dallas. So it should have been Barcelona versus Tottenham, Bayern Munich versus Inter. What a day of football that would have been. But we've got a replay of the last two Champions League finals with the potential to set up the one before that. If Bayern and us win, I think we face them in the semi-finals. So I want to show you this one because if Gremio are better than Tottenham, this is going to be a competitive game. So we haven't got any of the new players in yet. We've only got 2 set up. I still haven't showed you them because I've got a feeling this video is turning into a Club World Cup video, and then we'll do the transfer special tomorrow. But they're not arriving yet anyway. And I think even if they do arrive, they can't become part of this squad. So it's very much last season's team still. So Bajic in goal, a back four of Messias, Paredes, Banfalvi and Ryzen, who is struggling for fitness after picking up a knock in the first game. And there's no other fit right back in the squad because Barisic is he's out for another couple of months for a broken ankle. In my head, I thought it was Bajic who got injured. Looking at it now, it was Barisic, wasn't it? Because Bajic played. Good thinking, Kev. Vermonti at the base of the midfield, Gila and Hendricks ahead of him, and then Mbappe, Leonard and Pozibon as our front three. We're definitely going to be scouting players as part of this Gremio match because my theory is if they're going to be packed with Brazilian wonder kids anyway, and if they are Brazilian, aren't they? And if this is a team that's better than Tottenham, then there's going to be some stars in this team that we're going to want to bring back to Barcelona with us. The Club World Cup, by the way, taking place in India, and I think it's all taking place in the same stadium, unless we've just had all our matches in the same stadium, but matches are never on at the same time, and this is our third one now that's been in this Salt Lake Stadium in Kolkata, so I think it just all takes place in the same ground, which must be an awesome thing to be a part of. As a football fan in India, just to have this going on would be really, really cool. And Philippe Leonard puts us 1-0 up after 6 minutes, his 42nd goal of the season now, because, of course, we're still in last season. We're still going. We're not going to get much in the way of a summer after all this. We're going to have a bunch of tired players going into next season, but I guess the only silver lining to that is so is everybody else. Everyone who is A rival of ours in the league is here. Everyone who's going to be a rival of ours in the Champions League is here. So it's not putting us at a disadvantage against anyone who's actually going to be competitive with us over the course of the season. But when we've got an ageing side that's a small squad that was struggling at times last season to fill a bench, it's not the most perfect thing in the world to not have any kind of summer. But we'll be fine. We'll get through. 1-0 up as we approach half-time. There still hasn't been a shot against us in this tournament. We just haven't been as prolific in front of goal ourselves in this game. Posibon now finds Hendricks back to Vermonti, who sprays it forward looking for Mbappe, who's turned that on the edge of the area. He has managed to keep hold of it, but then gives the ball away, and it's all the way back to Paredes, who's just going to recycle the play, get the ball back forward again. Vermonti sprays it out to Kryju, this time on the other side. Kryju with the cross, and it's in the back of the net. I think that's an own goal. It is an own goal. Mbappe was lurking, but it's an own goal just before half-time. Barcelona 2, Gremio 0, and that's our 23rd goal of the tournament. And we still haven't had a shot against us. We're doing quite well. Obviously, it all comes a little bit undone when we face Bayern Munich. But for now, we're looking like strong favourites. We've already broken the tournament record for goals scored in this tournament, which was previously held by Liverpool at 18 goals. We'd broken their record by the group stage. I get the feeling we're supposed to rotate our team a little bit more than we are in this tournament. We did play a sort of rotated team in the last game. There was 2 16-year-olds in the starting 11 for the last match, but we are back to a full-strength team now because I want to win this thing. I don't know what difference it makes to the Hall of Fame and all that kind of stuff, but this is a tournament that I've never played in before. The stars have to align perfectly for me to get the opportunity to play in it again. I think it's certainly with the club hopping nature of this save now, I think it's pretty unlikely that we're going to play in this again. So I want to win the thing. I want to come home with the trophy. So plus it helps. It gives us a little bit of. To me, it makes me feel a little bit better after what happened in the Champions League. If we can go and beat Bayern Munich or Inter or whoever it might be. And show that it was just a little bit of a blip in the Champions League and we are actually better than a Champions League quarterfinal team. If we can go and win this with all our big rivals in it, then I think it's a little bit vindicating. Gremio have now had a shot. So we've had a shot against us in the tournament now. Still not a shot on target. So we've not had a goalkeeper have to make a save yet. And Mbappe has just scored an absolutely stunning free kick. Just to keep him in my mind for next season. He doesn't want replacing. He thinks he's got another season at Barcelona in him. And to be fair, with that being his 34th goal of the season, who am I to say he can't do another season for us as a regular starter? Because 34 goals, he's scored as many goals this season as he has years in his life, which is no mean feat at all. And look at the energy he's got there in the 88th minute when we're already 3-0 up. Just dancing past players. It falls to Powell's. Barrow's there as well. Plays it out to Banfalvi, who's currently playing right back because Kryju needed a rest. Banfalvi just learnt from Kryju. I mean, he's played with some good right backs in his career. He should have picked up a few tips and he looked all right there, didn't he? Certainly not too bad at all. And there is a 3-0 win. A pat on the head for everybody concerned. And now we look ahead to a semi-final where I'd quite like to avoid Bayern Munich in the semi-final because I'd like to play them in the final. But who knows? We might not even get to the final. So let's play them while we still can. Liverpool really, really chasing Posibon. And we don't want to sell him. And it is going to be Bayern Munich that we face in the semi-final. They got past Inter on penalties. So we're going to be meeting up with some of our some familiar faces, including one of our channel members on the bench there, Todd Thomas, who is going to be hovering. I think that was the only channel member we had at Bayern. But Luca Kiao, it's probably the reason why I shouldn't sign him because I can't say his name, but he scored for Inter. But there we go. It's this is a massive clash because not only at Bayern, my former club, but Thomas Tuchel is the guy that I took over at Barcelona from. We literally did a job swap last summer. We both then went on to win our domestic leagues. And he got to win the Champions League with the team I built for him as I'm rebuilding his mess from Barcelona. There's beef in this game. Right, just the one change in for the Bayern game. Hudson-Odoi comes in for Mbappe. Mbappe is an old man and he's tiring, so we're trying to protect him a little bit, give him something resembling a summer. Obviously, we'll bring him on if we're losing, and he'll play in the final if we get there too. But we're trying to rotate things as best we can, and that is a team that looks awfully familiar. I signed almost all of them. The only ones that I didn't sign out of that 11, Lust, Tigges and Ferron were there when I arrived. Everyone, bearing in mind I was only there 2 years, everyone else in that team was signed by me. This is, they're still playing my style as well. This is a surreal, this is going to be odd. Antonio Carlos, should we bring him home with us? Well, let's see which of my two teams are better. This is very odd. I suggest we're probably going to have a shot on target against us in this game. Barcelona versus Bayern Munich. Was not expecting this when I started this transfer special. Hudson-Odoi with a chance to break. Of course, he's one of the many Tottenham connections in this game as well. Leonard has got, I don't even know who that is, in huge amounts of space. Leonard has hit the post there. It looks like Gashi has become a full-on striker since I left, really. Thorgerson being sold because he wasn't getting in the team, and Gashi is the main man up front, with O'Hara and Miguel as the two guys who came in from Dortmund as the wide players. Banfalvi heading clear from the corner. There's Dombrowski. We don't want him hovering on the ball, and Gila just takes it off him and is charging forward on the counter-attack. He's got Leonard ahead of him. Hudson-Odoi supporting as well. Gila skips past his man, shoots, and it's saved by Ferron, and we've got a corner, and Banfalvi is going to be going forward, wanting a goal against his former club. Hudson-Odoi with the in-swinger doesn't get past Tigges, but it goes as far as Posibon, and we're going to try and keep this attack going. Posibon trying to get past Gashi, Paredes, and the move just kind of ends. Serra, of course, who I've now signed twice, and he's never played a game for me. Signed him as the last thing I did at both Tottenham and Bayern. He's like the reverse Alex Catamol. When I'm leaving a club, I sign Serra. When I arrive, I sell Catamol. It's just tradition now. And Lust now for Bayern. Plays it back to Haman. Dombrowski. This is not where we want to see Dombrowski. We've enjoyed him there many, many times. For some reason, tempering his run a little bit. But Lust is going to try and release him again. And it's Tigges who has played the ball through to Bartolek, who was out on loan at Liverpool last season after I signed him also from Dortmund. But he went out to Liverpool for some game time. And it looks like he's become part of this Bayern team now. And Leonard's done superbly there. And what a goal from Philippe Leonard. My word, how does this man not win the Ballon d'Or ever? I cannot believe how this fella at Inter is so much better than him. Because look at the state of what Leonard can do. This is a Leonard who's had his head turned. He's unhappy. He wants to go and play for Chelsea. And he's still doing that for us. Goal 43 of the season for Philippe Leonard. And it's Barcelona 1, Bayern Munich 0. This talk about vindication. This would be delicious if we could pull this off. They weren't interested. They know who their real boss is. They're all looking at me. That's the gaffer over there. I don't want to upset him. How many of us are going to be playing for Barcelona in a few weeks? Probably none of you. I've taken the ones that I wanted, unless I can maybe get Gashi. I could probably handle bringing Gashi over. Dombrowski for Bayern plays it forward, looking for Gashi. This would be a disappointing way to concede a goal, and it is. That's they've ticked over to a new season, presumably, because it's a first goal of the season for him, and I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have been playing up front all year without scoring a goal. So it's ticked over to the new season for them, but not for us, which makes Leonard's numbers seem all the more impressive. It's a very tidy finish from Gashi, and it is now all to play for. 1-1 right at the start of the second half. We have got Mbappe down on the bench, who he's a more dangerous prospect than anyone they've got on their bench. So we've got to be hopeful. Eduardo's another one who I brought in and then sent out on loan. It looks like he's pushed past Thumb. Either that or they're rotating a little bit. O'Hara's in. Gashi did well. Bajic can only push it into the path of O'Hara. And now we're behind. And this isn't how I wanted it to be. We were supposed to prove we're better than Bayern with their back-to-back Champions League wins, but maybe we're not yet. Eduardo did really well here. Plays it back to Gashi, who's had a very good game. Like I said, I certainly wouldn't be against bringing Gashi in if the opportunity presented itself, and that's why he's very good at football. We're asking for some creativity, and we're looking towards Kylian Mbappe on our bench. We're going to bring him on for Posibon. We're going to put him on the right-hand side as the Raumdeuter, where he's been at his best this season when he's played there. Messias is going to have to come off as well. He's tiring. Ghislaine can come on and play at left back. And we need to keep it. Krajew's done as well. He's played a lot of football and he's tiring. Right, Paredes with a free kick. Vermonti finds Ghislaine, who's nodding it down to Hudson-Odoi, but it's a poor header. And now the chance of a break, but Banfalvi's having none of it. Vermonti to Gila. Vermonti again sprays it out to Ghislaine, who plays it into the path of Hudson-Odoi. Can he square it? The ball is bobbling around in the area. Ghislaine is there and scores! A very unlikely goal from a very unlikely source. Augustin Ghislaine makes it 2-2 on 72 minutes. And this is two good teams battering each other here. This is some terrible defending from Hamad and Ferron, getting themselves in a mess. I'd be very disappointed to concede that goal, but then I was disappointed to concede the one they scored their first with as well. So my teams aren't known for their defending, even though this Bayern team was. But then, of course, I took Banfalvi, Krajewski and Vermonti away, and that's going to have an impact on a defence, taking three key elements of it away from them. Right, Haman knocking the ball back to Serra. And we're pressing this defence nicely, and I like it very much. But they're knocking the ball around as Van der Hoek's come on that left-hand side for them. Lust to Tigges. It's like old times commentating on these players. But Leonard has taken it off Serra, and he's through here. Gila's there supporting him. He doesn't want to use him. Probably should have done. Did very well to get into a shooting position, forcing a save out of Ferron. And it's another corner. Laszlo Banfalvi. This feels like a moment for him. We've been here many times. Corner comes in, and it's not onto the head of Banfalvi on this occasion. It's just the sort of time he'd score a goal, though. We know what that man's like. Right, Vermonti is tiring. There's lots of players getting very tired because we came into this with no training. We've got Barrow who can come on. I think he's probably the sensible substitution to make. He can come on for Hendricks, and we're going to push for 10 more minutes of creativity to finish things off while Bayern are feeling frustrated. I don't know what happens here. Does it go to extra time? Does it go straight to penalties? Penalties feels like a bit of a swizz if that's what happens. No, it is extra time. Right. Do we get to make another substitution? Being the better team here. Let's see if we can bring on... I want to bring on Powell's for Vermonti. We can do that. Right. Can we make another substitution? Can we bring Correa on for Hudson-Odoi? No. Is that the right change to make, actually, rather than Vermonti? I think it probably is. Bring him on there as a better attacking option. Powell's will be disappointed not to come on, but Hudson-Odoi's 34 years old, I think. Antonio Carlos has come on for Bayern. We can win this, boys and girls. Thumb is on for Eduardo as well. Marquez on in midfield for Bartolek. It's so tight. We're two so evenly matched teams. Let's finish off with a good old 10 minutes of passion. They're doing the same. We're motivated. They're focused. We are the same team. We're so evenly matched. It's two Kev teams going for each other's jugulars, and it's going to go down to penalties. Let's just get stuck into this. And fingers crossed, find a route through to the final. It's Mbappe, who's missed 3 penalties for us this season, but scored more than that. And he scored again. It's 1-0 to Barcelona. And now we put the pressure on Gashi for Bayern. I've never wanted Gashi to miss an opportunity before. I'd like him to do it now. And he does. It's a wonderful save. It's not a wonderful save. It's a terrible penalty. Straight at the keeper. But we're 1-0 up now. And Correa with the chance to put us 2-0 up. And he does. We've got our fingertips in the final already. Lust for Bayern. Come on, lads. You don't want to knock old Kev out. We're big buddies. Do you want to come and play for Barcelona next year? He doesn't. That's no chance of a move for him. Barrow now for us to make it 3-1. Romario Barrow against Ferron, and he scores. Never any doubt there. That's a very, very good penalty. Antonio Carlos, my boy, we lived together when I first arrived in Munich. He steps up and scores. There's no love lost there, is there? Goodness me, Antonio. Thought we were friends. Philippe Leonard, I have raved about him all season long. Has he got another goal in him for us? Of course he does, because he's the best striker in the world, no matter what the stupid Ballon d'Or says. If we can make a save here, we make it through to the final. Who is stepping up for Bayern? Who is it? It's Marquez. Marquez against Bajic. We know Marquez has got goals in him, but hopefully Bajic has got another save in him. Come on, lads. Come along now. This would be a nice time. No, it's 4-3. So last penalty taker. I can't remember who our final penalty taker is, but it's on them to score. It is oh my word, Vermonti against Ferron. Surely Vermonti isn't going to be the villain against his former club. He's been our player of the year. Last year he was their player of the year. Matteo Vermonti to step up to put us in the final, and he does, because he's the best player in the series, and we've knocked Bayern out of the Club World Cup. I don't care if it's important or not. It's important to me that we just beat my old club after they won the Champions League. It's going to be Barcelona versus Manchester United in the final of the FIFA Club World Cup. And that's going to be on tomorrow's episode, because this one has already gone on a bit. So tomorrow we're going to start off with the final of the Club World Cup and then get on with our summer transfers, because we've still got £200 million to spend. Have they sacked? I thought they meant they'd sacked him. He means he's going to... What? He has been sacked. Are you disappointed to have suffered defeat in this particular fixture, given you were sacked? What? No, he was sacked by us. I was going to say, if they'd have sacked him off the back of that, that would have been hideous. But no, because he was sacked by Barcelona, and now I've proved I'm better than him again. I am better than you. Excellent. Right, tomorrow we continue. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.